Hi everyone, my name is Madina and I recently got my paid internship at the UN, which was my dream job since I don't remember when. But before that, I've been unemployed for 7 months and it was the first time in my life when I experienced something like this in terms of emotional, financial pressure, as well as just a big mess in my life, and all while living in a foreign country in London, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world. So I decided to make this video where I can reflect on that in unemployment period and the lessons it taught me. It's not the first time I'm trying to record this video because the first time was very long. It turned out to be like 1 hour conversation and it was a bit off, like a bit chaotic. So I decided to identify 4 main struggles and just briefly talk about how I dealt with it, about my story, how I dealt with it, and what I would recommend you and what I would advise myself if I could go back in time. The first big struggle I faced was identity crisis due to joblessness. All my life, I've been an overachiever. I was the best student at my school. I got scholarship for my bachelor's. Then I got one of 18 scholarships around the world for my master's, for Erasmus Mundus journalism. And alongside my studies, I also constantly worked as a journalist, as main manager of the Fashion Week. I worked at the wine company as an event manager and PR manager as well. So basically, I felt like I did like purposeful work. So I did investigations, for example, about corruption. I covered stories of national significance and I saw the result of my stories, like something good happening afterwards. So the purpose of my life was deeply rooted in my work. And I was also used to opportunities coming into my hands by recommendations. I work in the newsroom, then the editor-in-chief recommended me to another place. I went to this place, and then my director recommended me to another place. So I was always being hunted, not hunting myself, like job hunting myself. And I felt like as long as I do a good job, I will always be in demand. I will always find a job if I want. And then I moved to London, and in this job market, no one cares about anyone because there are just so many good professionals, and it's very competitive. You just need to climb yourself, climb, fall, climb over again. Also, for the first time in my life, I felt like I'm not moving anywhere. So I felt very stagnated and stuck. Since I've been constantly moving countries, like I've lived and studied and worked across 5 countries, so I felt like there's gonna always be a new season, basically a new chapter of my life. And then this chapter where I was stagnated was just becoming too long. It made me very anxious and um very sad, very upset. So the main idea was that the picture in my mind of where I would be by this time didn't match where I was actually at. Picture from my imagination didn't match the reality, and it really, really broke me. I had some depressive episodes. Like, yeah, it was very hard for me, very difficult because it was new to me. I also felt like it's so unfair because I invested so much in my career and my education, and then I felt like I'm just not needed anywhere. So if you guys are going through the same situation now, I would recommend you first really develop your self-discipline and create your daily routine. It's very easy, when you have work or uni to keep you put together and give you a schedule, give you like stability, certainty, but it's much more powerful to be in charge of your own discipline yourself, even when you don't have anything to keep you stable. So to get rid of these invasive thoughts, if they're not too bad, if they're too bad, just don't listen to me and go to therapist and just really take care of yourself. If not, then please plan your day every single night. Make a plan for tomorrow. Do something productive every day, something that will at least give you illusion of doing something. That's something that will keep your mind occupied. It's very important because I think when you are stuck in 4 walls, like stuck in your house, and you don't have anything outside, no motivation to go out. It's really easy to stay inside and think over and over again about, how unfair the life is. Yes, the life is unfair, but you can make a big difference if you just get up and do something. It's a really good time to start over. It's time that you finally can dedicate to your personal development. So, for instance, I went to Pilates every single day, Pilates or yoga, weekend or holidays. No, it doesn't matter. I just needed some routine, something stable to do every day, and learn something that will help you to create the future you want. There are many free platforms to learn from. I was really into edX. I did some modules on social media. I did modules on financial journalism just to refresh my knowledge. If you feel very exhausted and sad and upset, then just don't stay at home. Just go out, do something. Walk around, listen to music you like, listen to podcasts, listen to lectures on YouTube, or, whatever you like. Second struggle is financial burden. I don't think I need to explain much here, because that's perhaps the reason why I'm searching for a job. And my only advice here would be to take a temporary job, part-time job, unprofessional job, anything that will keep you on the go. Even if I say I didn't have a job, I still had some side hustles that kept me on the go, that made at least some financial difference to my life. Because being financially dependent on anyone is not easy. It's not for the weak. Even if you have a good partner or parents to help you out, I think, or maybe it's just my problem, but I felt a bit guilty to take this for so long. I mean, for 7 months. I think if it was like only for 1 or 2 months, it's completely normal. It was completely normal for me. But the longer it got, the more guilty I felt, even though, my boyfriend is super kind. I think he's the kindest person I know, and he just loves me so much. But even when he helped me out, I felt like it's just unfair that I can't give you, I can't give him anything in turn. And I just felt very, very guilty. And for my parents as well. I believe there is like energy exchange in the world. So when people give you money, you pay back in one way or another. So the easiest way for you to live, I think, is to always have your own money earned by you, owned by you. Maybe it's just me and how I was raised and how I'm built. I was always told that you always need to give back to people, that you always have to have your own money, and just was always on my mind, like constantly circulating in my mind, and it made me so anxious. So if I could go back in time, I would 100% recommend myself to get a temporary job, like a waitress, barista, anything that I can get. I just thought, if I get this job as a waitress and then 2 or 1 month after I'll get the job offer of my dream, then I would just let people down at this job. Don't be like me. First of all, it's not your business. Second of all, in this economy, in this job market, at least in London, you will not get a job so fast. And third, if you're lucky and you do get a job very quickly, then believe me, you will manage. You will somehow manage. And also, please don't be ashamed of working as a waitress or cleaner, dishwasher. Just remember, it's better to work as a waitress or cleaner than to not work at all. Every job is important. Every job is respected. Don't listen to what your ego says and just go for it if you don't have financial pillar. Having a temporary part-time job will make you at least somewhat stable, somewhat more comfortable. The third big struggle was keeping up with social life. Once I became unemployed, all social media, especially LinkedIn and Instagram, have become my enemies. I just hated going to social media. I started posting less, I started using them less, which is not bad, But the thing is, when you see someone else's success, someone else's achievements, in your house, broken, crying, and hopeless, it may really destroy your self-confidence even more. I mean, for some people, I know some people just they don't care, and I think that's very good, but it's not my case. If you're like me, if it makes you questioning your self-worth, then I would really recommend you to skip the meetings with people that make you uncomfortable. You just don't have to go and meet these people. And you can hide and like unsubscribe, at least like temporarily, from people who make you feel uncomfortable. Be mindful of your mental health and just not, just not look at this. But another problem was that at some point, following the strategy, I started realizing that I was avoiding people. Please don't abandon all people from your life. You should have a social life. Maybe less social than it was, but at least some social life for sure. And I would recommend you to reach out and meet with people who make you comfortable, like your best friends, or those who are in the same boat as you. So those who are also unemployed, maybe your fellow graduate. For instance, in my case, I remember I saw this really good video about unemployment, really funny one. I liked it, and I realized there are many of my friends who already liked this video. And I was like, okay, so if they can relate to it, I can reach out to them. And then we just started talking about, getting 50 rejections a day. One person shared this with me, and I was like, okay, maybe, I'm not alone. It's not my fault. And it's very validating experience. So I would really recommend you to at least have some people that will help you with the stigmas of being unemployed, that someone who feels your situation, someone who goes through the same things. Another thing is how to deal with advisors. So talking to my friends, fellow unemployment students, postgraduates, I realized that it's one of the biggest triggers while you're being unemployed, is that when your parents or relatives call you and ask you and advise you how to get this job, even though they have nothing, like no knowledge of the current job market situation, they have no knowledge of the current application process and all that. Just don't pay attention. Decrease the time you talk to people like that. They're probably doing that from the best intentions, but when you're unemployed, anything can trigger you, anything can break you. When your mental health is unstable, it's just better to take care of yourself first. In my case, after 5 or 6 months of job hunting, my parents started to be really pushy about finding a job, and that's when I decreased the number of calls we had a week. I started talking about abstract things more than about what's happening in my or their lives, so they can't make their judgments. It really helped me to save the ruins of my mental health. And instead of listening to people who desperately want to give you advice, reach out to people who you really admire, who you really want to be like. Make a Q&A session with them. Ask them to revise your interview questions that you're not certain about. In my case, I used my university's platform. For example, I scheduled appointments with career advisor to revise my CV, to revise my applications. I also organized a mock interview before my UN internship interview, and it helped. It really helped me because they checked my motivation, they checked how confident I was, and they gave me really good advice. The last but not least is how to deal with rejections. Well, you can't really do much here, can you? My only advice would be to apply intentionally. Intentional applying will help you to save your sanity. Because I have a friend, she told me, I remember in July or August, she told me she applied for 10 jobs a day. And I was like, what? Sometimes one application could take me 1 or 2 days, one application. And I was like, oh no, I need to catch up. But I realized it's just not for me. I'm not built to get so many rejections. Maybe now, but not back then. If you are applying intentionally for the jobs that really matter to you, for the jobs you really want, then you can be more precise about your motivation. You can tailor your background to the duties of the new position you're applying to. So that increases your chances to be selected significantly. But also, if you're rejected, it could be so many reasons. the role may simply be closed. HR may consider you not suitable for the vibe of the team. There's so many like small possibilities why you're not selected. It doesn't mean that you're not professional or you don't have enough skills. Someone will take a chance on you for sure if you just keep on applying. Just don't take it personal. Don't take it too seriously. Don't be too harsh on yourself because of rejections. I have a story here. When I became really desperate about job hunting, I really needed money. I applied for this job as a sommelier in a restaurant, high-end restaurant in London. I was invited for the interview. In my opinion, I had enough qualifications because I organized wine tastings. I led them. I led like wine history lectures in France, for instance, about Central Asian winemaking. So I had enough knowledge and I had enough skills. And during the interview, when they were looking at my CV, they were like, "You have such a brilliant education. You are so impressive." I was like, "Yeah, thank you." And I was like, "Okay, this is in my pocket. This job is in my pocket." It was not. I was not selected and it just broke me. It broke me. I remember, I think I spent 3 days crying all day. I felt like, okay, so if I'm not selected for my plan Z, then what I am worth in general. But here I am, 2 months after that rejection, I got my UN internship. If I was selected, who knows, maybe I wouldn't have enough time to undergo all the stages of UN internship selection. Maybe I would be too tired. Maybe I wouldn't be so focused on the applications anymore. So I think that rejection really made me stronger and led me to the UN internship. These 7 months, they were so hard. It made me very uncomfortable at times. It made me very anxious. It really affected my mental health 100%. And I thought I was very stable. You know, I never had any mental problems before. I considered myself very strong, very competitive. But even me, I ended up being very broken after each and every rejection. I had to search inside myself for the stamina to go on, keep on going and keep on applying, keep on believing in yourself. And it's really hard. Take this time as an opportunity to grow, keep on going, keep on applying, or just keep on doing something and you will find a way out of that. It just can't be otherwise. If it helps you, just romanticize this period for yourself. Take it as a chapter of your book, you know, the story of your life. And it's just really just a chapter. Just a chapter of your life that needs to teach you something. Just a small chapter, very important one, maybe not the easiest one. It still turned out to be very chaotic, but it's just what I wanted to say. If you like this video, then let me know in the comments. I really want to share so many thoughts about unemployment, and maybe more practical tips would be interesting for you on how to get a job. Yeah, if that's something that interests you, then let me know and I'll make another video. Thank you for watching till this moment and see you soon.